Or Jeremy Thompson, a combat veteran, also a candidate for Tennessee's 9th Congressional District. Jeremy, good to see you. I know that you've spent time in the military. You are also advocating on behalf of veterans issues. I'm curious your take on how Congress is handling the war in Iran right now.
I think Congress has a responsibility to the people and the president to support him in this effort. There's been many, many years that have gone by, 47 to be precise, where this administration has not been held accountable. They're the #1 state sponsor of terrorism around the world. They've killed hundreds of thousands of Americans over the years. And we've used diplomacy in an unfair way for the American people. This president and his team, and Marco Rubio and Secretary Hegseth, have taken the fight to our enemies, and they've done it effectively. All military operations should be crafted in such a way that they're executed with precision, and I think that's exactly what this president has done.
How do you respond, though, to the America First voters who are very upset about this? I would say angry about the war. They say this is not America First, and they fear that we could be dealing with major losses in the fall if the war is still raging. How do you respond to that?
So I don't think it's time to define this as a war. I think we need to understand the authority of the president under Article 2 of our United States Constitution, and that's where we fail a lot of times. But if we understand that, we get behind this president, we support him in his effort to hold our nation's enemies accountable. War is an ugly thing. There's no good way to affect it or tackle it, but we have to support our national leaders through the process. And it's very important that we hold our enemies and our allies accountable, get the strait back open for foreign trade, and ensure that under no circumstances that Iran moves forward with possession of nuclear weapons.
So, okay, I won't use the word war, but this skirmish, it was supposed to last 5 weeks, and it's certainly gone well beyond that. Is there a concern that you have that if we're still involved in a skirmish by the midterm elections, gas prices are off the charts, grocery prices are going up, that this could end up with some blowback for Republican candidates out there?
I stand confident in that this is a very well-planned military operation and that we're going to see successful results in the near future versus later. But this is something that we have to take into consideration, not for the next 200 days, but for the next 200 years. I'm very concerned for what this country is going to look like after we're all gone, and we need to do the best we can on behalf of our children, our grandchildren, and great-grandchildren to get it right now. We have a moment in time to get it right, and I believe we are.
All right. Well, last night, actually, the Supreme Court delivered a big victory for Republicans, allowing Alabama to use that 2023 congressional map for this election cycle. It's a decision that could preserve an additional Republican-held House seat. And this is also good news, I understand, for you folks in Tennessee.
Yes, sir. I think the Supreme Court has been very clear in that this is a state-level issue, and the states have the authority to change the laws if they have to keep it a legal process. But I think the ultimate ruling is that the redistricting and the redrawing of maps is a perfectly legal thing, and we're going to move forward on behalf of Tennessee and Alabama to put the right leadership in place on behalf of the American people. It's something we're incredibly excited about.
You know, speaking of Tennessee, there's been a lot of anger there in the Nashville area. Many longtime businesses, especially on Lower Broadway, which is a very popular entertainment district, they're having to really figure out if they can stay in business because of the Democrat mayor's tax and spend policies, and people are really suffering. The mayor now facing heat over this $3.8 billion proposed budget for the city, which includes $735,000 for a pro-illegal alien nonprofit. I'm just wondering, how does this play when a lot of people can't even pay their bills and they're law-abiding American citizens?
I am one of those people. We are feeling that every time we go to the fuel station or the grocery store. My family feels that. So we are monitoring this very closely. But what I would say is that people have to get back involved in the political process. We're turning out less than 30% of voters in any particular election, much lower than that in some. So we have to get people motivated in our international processes and get them back to the voter polls, to put the right people in place, to ensure that these things don't continue, to hold our institutions accountable and make sure that it's an institution or a government of the people, not a government of the government.
All right, Jeremy Thompson, thank you for joining us tonight. And still ahead, a shocking